am the baby of my family. I don't want to hurt you, Joe. I don't want to hurt you, Joe.
It is?
Yeah. I do an hour and a half.
If my car was a couple of years tomorrow.
I'm glad you're here.
I'm listening. I listen to you.
No, if my car
I'll come pick you up.
No, she doesn't. How could you do that, really?
Oh, yeah, please, that's an
Good eyesight,
interesting
you know, things like that. Smart, yeah, long legs. Unlike some people.
You better get her.
Got what?
Straight to the moon.
Oh, that's right. In the middle of all of that, I got a note
And they didn't.
That's good.
Victims.
From in here, and you get like the number 13. You know, what is it? What is it? I didn't come here.
Okay. Good afternoon. I know it's been a long day already. And so actually I'm going to ask everybody to remain seated. And I'm going to ask Regent Chin to do the moment of reflection.
Even though it's listed that Vice Chancellor was supposed to be
Oh, he
there.
deferred.
Yes, he did.
I deferred. I know that we are made up of a beautiful collection of diverse members, and this morning many of us shared reflections based on the African American story, and so I already spoke to that. So Regent Chin, I thought you would speak to something that we all look forward to hearing.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor and Chancellor. I thank you all for the opportunity to share with you a reflection on the holiday that I just celebrated, that I am still celebrating since February 5th, which is the Lunar New Year. The holiday lasts actually for 15 days. Lunar New Year is celebrated by more than 20% of the world. It's the most important holiday in China and to Chinese people all over the world. It's also celebrated in Korea and Vietnam as well. So I wanted to share with you some interesting facts on the custom and traditions. Every family during the Lunar New Year are decked out in red because red is the lucky color. So I'm wearing as close as I want to in red. I don't like the real red.
It's your red. It's your
And I was just going to say that the chancellor might have a little Chinese in her as well.
Actually, I do.
You do. Children receive lucky money in red envelopes. This money is supposed to help transfer fortune from the elders to the kids. They also can be given between bosses and employees. So, Chancellor, we're waiting for our red envelope.
You're on your way.
Checks in the mail.
That comes with our weekly paycheck.
That's right. Nothing of nothing is nothing. Firecrackers are set off to ward off the evil spirits and the monsters, so that's why you hear all of the firecrackers during Chinese New Year, but it's illegal now in New York City, so they record it and they play it during the dragon dancing. Each Lunar New Year is represented by one of 12 zodiac animals. This year is the year of the pig or the boar. Pigs have a beautiful personality and are blessed with good fortune in life. They are energetic and always enthusiastic. Actually, I'm blessed with 2 pigs in the house. my husband, and my son. Don't you love this?
You've got quite a sense of humor.
Yeah, I do. You didn't know that, did you? Is this being recorded?
I got it.
Yes, and he's watching.
Oh, man, I got it.
Oh, well, thank goodness they have such very pleasant characteristics. But I also wanted to share with you the importance of understanding your roots, your heritage, your culture and customs of your ancestry, so that many of the schools that have Chinese and Asian students in their schools celebrated the Lunar New Year with wonderful dances and songs all during the past week or so. So on that note, I want to wish you 恭喜發財, 新年快樂, which means wishing you all good luck and Happy New Year. I do speak Chinese. So thank you very much for your time.
And by the way, I had a conversation, I think it was last week, right, with Regent Chin, and I shared with her that unlike her house, I have dragons in my house, 3 of them, and she is actually a rabbit. So we talked about her own sign.
I had a real pig.
You did, but that was not, that was for other reasons.
7 years. Yeah.
Sure.
Just to raise your hand.
If it's your year, like the year of the pig, do you get anything special, or it's just with the envelopes?
No, once you're married, you don't get any more red envelopes. You have to give out red envelopes. So stay single and
Does the IRS look at
maintain your fortune.
It's transfer well.
But anyway, so thank you, Regent Chin, and remember, this is a real red, okay?
Yes, it is.
Okay, now we have our full board consent items. Charter application, February 2019. Summary of January 2019 meeting of the Board of Regents. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
A second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Any opposed? Next, we have our consent items by program. We'll start with John Devati.
We have 2 appointments to the professional standards and practices board for teaching. We have deferral of the degree for Dowling College, Huntington College, and Glasgow, California. Approval of CTE extensions to allow teachers who are certified to get 5-6 extensions, and then allow grade level extensions and limited extensions for special ed teachers.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Joan Ebert with P12 Education.
Thank you, Chancellor. The 3 items we have for you today. First is the grade span waiver for Canal Bilingual Education classes for emergency action. The proposed amendment will become effective as permanent rule on February 27th. The second item is the registration of religious and independent high schools. We have 2 for you this afternoon. And then the third item is the implementation of the state's approved ESSA plan. We're asking the regents to adopt by emergency action the regulations so that we can continue, and we are proposing to bring this back to you in March.
Thank you, Joan. Next, we have Doug Lentovich with professional practice.
Thank you, Chancellor. Let's your approval this month of the following consent agenda items. 1 appointment, 12 reappointments to state boards for professions, 2 licensing petitions, 18 requests for the conferral of the MD degree, master plan amendment for Cazenovia College relating to their clinical mental health counseling program, and finally designation of the regent's physicians shortage area.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Thank you. Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? For our committee reports for approval, we have P12 Education, Professional Practice. Do I have a motion for approval? Thank you. We did have a second. Got it. All in favor? Any opposed? Phyllis has our State Education Department January 2019 fiscal report, and she's going to give us our report.
Thank you, Chancellor.
The January fiscal report is presented for your acceptance. All accounts remain in structural balance. We are projecting the cultural education account to end the fiscal year with a negative $2.2 million balance. The report reflects current year plans for 2-year federal grant awards, and I recommend that the Board of Regents accept the January 2019 State Education Department fiscal report as presented.
Thank you so much. Do I have a motion for approval? Thank you. I saw a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Allison, did you get the second? Great. Any opposed? Now we have 2 appointments for consideration, and I understand they're both here?
Yes.
All right, Commissioner.
Thank you, Chancellor. Just so for your information, the New York State Education Department oversees the licensing and practice of 4,654 acupuncturists, 1,553 audiologists, 19,000 speech-language pathologists, 14,471 occupational specialists, and 4,547 occupational therapy assistants. This is done by the State Board of Acupuncture, Speech Language Pathology and Audiology, and Occupational Therapy. It has been a priority for us to seek a qualified individual for this position, and we are bringing to you Mr. Kramer. He comes to us from a long history of education sector work. He was the Vice President of the Commission of Independent Colleges and Universities and was the Executive Director of the Council of Governing Boards. He has worked closely with board members and his management team to ensure successful outcomes, and he previously served as the Executive Director of the New York State Higher Education Initiative. We're very pleased to have him here to work with those varied departments within our professions. Mr. Kramer? Thank you.
Mr. Kramer, we did clap before your approval, so but we're going to approve you and then we'll clap again. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
That's our way of letting him know it only goes downhill from here, Chancellor.
That's true. Do I have a motion for approval of Mr. Kramer? Thank you. A second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And now we can talk. Next.
So I'm very pleased to bring to you the appointment of Miss Ceylan Myers-Ruff to the position of Assistant Commissioner for Access VR. Ms. Myers-Ruff has been in our department and worked with us since 2017 when she became the Director of Central Office Administration and provides oversight in that position to the units within Access VR. Prior to joining SED, she worked for the Office for People with Developmental Disabilities, OPWDD, and led the coordination of efforts to improve the quality of supported employment, pre-vocational services, and day habilitation services. She also oversaw the development of trainings and regulations related to service billing and documentation. Ms. Myers-Ruff's vast experience as a leader in this field will be an incredible asset to us here at SED, and we appreciate her hard work that she's already shown us as part of her existing duties. So I'm very glad to bring her to you as the position open for Assistant Commissioner for Access VR.
Oh, wait, go ahead. We did it again. Sit down. Okay, we did it again, so stay standing. Now, do I have a motion for her?
I make a motion.
Oh, wonderful. A second? Great. All in favor? Yeah. Any opposed? Now we can do it.
Actually, we're trying to make sure the people feel very welcome, so we want to make sure they have 2 opportunities for claps.
Okay, and before we adjourn, now, tell me how you pronounce your name.
Salon, right there.
And your last name?
Myers.
I was saying Mayor.
I was right.
She was right. We were having a sidebar discussion here. Mayor Myers.
Myers.
Thank you so much. Okay, and on that note, we stand adjourned.
Are we staying in here?
Yes.